Donald Trump is bringing together his cabinet, and his latest appointment, well, at the time of recording, we should say, is Ben Carson. Ben Carson is to lead the Department of Housing and Urban Development. This is exactly what Donald Trump had to say about it. Quote, Q12, Ben Carson has a brilliant mind and is passionate about strengthening communities and families within those communities. And you know what, Dominic George, I actually kind of agree with that statement, because I know a bit about Ben Carson. I've been involved with an interview around him back in the day. He's got an amazing story. He's an amazing, mind when it comes to surgery and what he's done in that area. And from his background, he's a church boy, and he really does want to see, he's a helper. He's the kind of person that gets involved in charities. Sort of thing.
But is he qualified for housing and urban development?
Well, this is the point I guess some people are saying, and I just want to say again, I'm not saying necessarily I would agree with the pick or think but I know that he is someone who is the kind of person who is a charitable person. He's a church person. He's that good salt.
Yeah. Does that make you automatically a good person?
Well, he also thinks that people turn gay when they go to prison, which is a bit of an unfortunate thing.
There's the counter argument.
Yeah, very much so. Okay, so is he qualified? And there are a lot of people in the last few days saying, well, he owns a house. And that's about as far as they've got for being qualified.
Well, that puts a lot of people in the running then, doesn't it?
It does.
For the portfolio of housing and urban development.
It does. Anna Navarro, who's got worldwide attention in the last 6 months, she's a CNN commentator, she's a Republican strategist, and she is ardently opposed to Donald Trump. She has been since day one. She's Hispanic, and obviously she thinks he's a racist, misogynist, bigot, and so she's got a lot of press around that. She put out a tweet, and I'm paraphrasing, where she basically said that I think it's right and proper to critique, to criticise, to question the appointment based on his experience. But she did, this is Carson's experience, but she did say at least someone in the Trump cabinet will have come through the system where they had nothing when they were young. He came from a poor background, solo mum, and he was poor. So she was saying, if we can take a silver lining from this very dark cloud for this appointment, at least he's someone who, if he gives himself a chance to remember, will be able to perhaps empathise, remember back to what it was like to have nothing, as opposed to the Wall Streets, the tycoons, all those people being involved in his cabinet.
So you could also argue on the flip side of that it's tokenism.
Possibly. We also have a look what the New York Times said. New York Times, and this is just a quote from their paper, it's Q13, says this of the criticism. Big city mayors and housing experts are nervous about the idea of billionaire real estate development in the White House. Now President-elect Donald J. Trump has picked Ben Carson, a retired neurosurgeon with no housing experience, as his nominee for Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, and high anxiety has set in. So there is nerves around it. And I guess you got to say with Mr. Trump, President-elect Trump, some of the people here is appointing. I mean, you've got the leader of Breitbart, who is an alt-right website that favours racist themes and stuff involved with his campaign. That a lot of people are saying it's a wait and see. We've got to give him the chance to get in. We've got to figure out how he's going to do this. But there is also a lot of questions around some of the appointments he was making, and Ben Carson is just another one of those questions.